Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Ironman. Thought I'd stand still for this one. I find if I'm doing something mid-kill and trying to commentate, it just does not work at all. But Zulrah hasn't been too kind to me thus far, but you know, to be totally honest, I don't even care. Like I said last video, I've got a pretty sweet setup. This is super chill, and I'm like not stressing, trying to get a drop. So I'm actually just killing the snake because I enjoy killing the snake, which is kind of weird. Normally kind of like panicking, trying to get an item. Like I want that blowpipe, I want that fang. I don't even care, man. I'm just doing it for supplies at this point. But to start off this video, you might have remembered quite some time ago, I trained my mining quite highly, and as a result, we have quite a few bone shards in the bank. We also have some bones that need to be crushed down. In essence, we have over 500,000 bone shards to use. So, because Zulrah requires prayer to be successful, I thought, you know, I've gotten to the point where I'm kind of forced to use what I've got in supply. So with only 8,000 XP to 73 prayer, I think somehow we're going to make it. So that's how we're going to start things off. Going to convert all of my current bones into shards, and then we're going to see how high we can get with all the bone shards we've accrued thus far. Also not too far off 99 mining, but I highly doubt I'll be getting bone shards. I'll probably just get sandstone for that, because we can always use buckets of sand. The sand that we used last video, or the molten glass rather, what ended up happening is whilst blowing it, I also did seaweed runs the whole time, and I essentially replaced half of what I used, which is kind of sweet. If you just chill by that little island and just do seaweed runs constantly whilst you're blowing molten glass, you get like half of it back if you're just actively paying attention, which is cool. Also, my crystal armor has died for the first time. I've never actually had to repair this stuff, and I think the amount that the armor goes down is proportionate to the damage that you receive, because this armor set was just not taking any like hits to charges, but as soon as I get into content where I'm taking damages, like I'm noticing that we're going down quite quickly. So first things first, we're going to charge up the armor. I'm not even sure how to do that, and then of course we'll get stuck into our prayer training. Currently 111 combat. I'm sure that will be different before too long. Alrighty, turns out you can just use the shards on the armor. I like go to a singing bowl to make this happen. Turns out that's not necessary. Do I just use it on one and it charges them all? I'm so confused. 20,000? Sorry, you get 2,000 at the start. 2,500 to be precise. And now they go up to 20. Holy smokes. Alright, even though we're going to be draining our shard count, or our charges of our armor rather, having 20,000 reserved? God damn, how do people ever run out of charges? Although, I say that now, I'm sure I'll be definitely eating my words in the future, because yes, I'm going to be taking a lot more damage these days, I reckon. You want to see something awful? These Sunkissed bones, the ones I got from the Hunter Rumors, they have a default left click to break down, which is great. I thought that would be fantastic, because obviously if you want to break down 1,000 of these bad boys, it'd be good if you could just, you know, spam the left click and get through them nice and quickly, but that's not the case. You can't actually do that. So instead, I've just been having to manually chisel them to actually get through them at a rate that isn't horrendously slow. But now that they are all broken down, we have ourselves an additional 47,000 bone shards. We'll pop that on top of the previous stash, and that is just a beautiful sight. So, gonna head over to Valamore and start blessing some wine and see how far we can go with this current stack. This has been a long time in the making. I feel like I say that a lot these days, but this truly, took quite some time to accrue. And it's probably a good thing I didn't use them back in the day either, because my old method of buying wines was a little bit scuffed. I didn't realize in Camtorum there was a pub that you could just buy, you know, a casual infinite quantity of wines from, and the bank isn't too far away, so been spending a little bit of time buying these wines. But the thing that comes to mind is that whilst I've been killing Zulrah has dropped me a little over 1,000 grapes. I'm hoping I've banked those grapes. I quite often will like hide certain items on the ground, so there's a good chance that even though grapes are kind of useful, that the entity hidden and I can't see them on the ground. So in a moment when we get to the bank, I want to get to the grand reveal whether or not I actually banked these grapes. Please tell me they are there. Grapes, fantastic. Alright. I must have died on one of these because, yeah, my loot tracker says 1250, we're 250 short in the bank, but 1,000 grapes is definitely going to do. I did just buy some wine, so we won't actually need to make any until we actually run out. 680 might last a while. I think last time it took a couple hundred wines to get from like, I don't know, 46 to 70, so I'm not too sure. Maybe 1,000 will be enough. I guess we'll find out. Not sure if the wines that I had was enough to finish the entire bone stack, but it was definitely enough to get a few levels in the beginning. Hitting level 77 prayer quite quickly. Used about 200,000 of the bone shards. The levels are still flying in, and we are currently on the precipice of reaching 1 level. For now, I'm going to have to head to bed. I really wanted to do this all in one go, but this is taking longer than I thought. The scale is just a little bit different this time around, but there is 80 prayer, a very nice level to have. The Eladinus ward, the little gingerbread looking thing, minus the ginger, all bread, but the same shape. I don't know what I'm saying. I need to go to bed. I'm very curious. My guess is about 85. That is my kind of goal, but that's going to be huge, going from 72 prayer to whatever we end up getting. We're going to get much more value for each individual prayer dose, so not to mention just having extra prayer points to begin a Zulrah fight is also quite handy. So I really just want to get back to the snake, and the faster I get this done, like, I can just get back into it. So like, I'm enjoying like getting all these zoomy prayer levels and stuff, but at the same time, man, I really just want to be like killing that thing over and over again. For what it's worth, we just got our first combat level sitting at 112, also 1975 total level. The levels aren't exactly fast to get these days, but to blitz through 8 just now, the dopamine levels are surging. It turns out the ones that we did have weren't actually enough, and we ended up having to go back to the old Lunar Isle and finish off some of those wines, hitting 80 cooking along the way. I feel like my cooking level is going to far surpass my fishing without too much of an issue, but with the extra wines that we managed to make with cooking, we also allowed ourselves to get 85 prayer, which is absurd. Like, the methods that exist today compared to like how I would have trained prayer in the past, it honestly feels like cheating sometimes, how different things are and what kind of options are available. But the final tally, 56k away from the next prayer level. And of course, once we achieved ourselves 85 prep, it was time to get back onto the Horseshoe of Doom. And I'm finding that with those extra prayer points, I don't even really need to take a prayer pot with me. The kill is pretty much guaranteed. The question is, can I get 2 kills per trip? And a lot of the time, the answer is kind of yes. Prayer flicking does come into play a little bit, but not too much. So with the adjustments that we've made, we managed to get a bunch of new achievements. And also of note, we almost got the fastest possible Zulrah time, a new PB being 54 seconds. But I eventually ran out of food and decided to get myself some carambwans before heading back into some questing. But one thing I also took note of, with all the recent addition, the influx of combat achievement points, I did indeed hit myself a threshold to get myself the medium tier, I believe has been done. So some free herblore experience. Barrows just got a lot easier. Haven't really done any barrows, but if I ever get around to doing it, it'll be slightly less annoying. So the next thing I want to get ticked off the list is to move towards getting Dragon Slayer to complete. So we're going to go ahead and get all the prereqs we can get done out of the way and work on that bad boy of a quest, because of course, once Dragon Slayer 2 is complete, almost ate shit on that one there. Once that quest is complete, I will be able to unlock myself the upgraded backpack. And look, I think I deserve it with how much pain I endured. The rage that you didn't hear just then was intense, to put it lightly. So now that Dragon Slayer 2 is complete, there's a few other things that need to be done. Of course, if we're going to be killing Vorkath and getting ourselves his head, we're going to have to try and kill him. And of course, the Self Amulet IU, I have no idea. Is that vitamin D? IU, whatever. That needs to be obtained in order to kill him efficiently. So we made sure to get that mini quest out of the way and to make sure we hook ourselves up with a nice little Self Amulet or 12. And of course, one of the amulets need to be imbued at the very least. A pink amulet's just not going to do the same job as the old blue one. So I went and headed off to Nightmare Zone, just kind of AFKing some prayer, kind of just AFK melees, get myself the old imbue. I did this because of the diary requirement as well. So 2 birds, 1 stone there. But this was all after killing Galvac. I was waiting for my partner to finish the quest as well so we could finish it together. A nice injection of experience for the both of us. So it's always great to see those new fat as like XP drops from the new quests. But I hate to say it, man, but once again, my RNG was a bit nuts. I think on kill count number 2 or something ridiculous, I got myself the Vorkath head, which means, of course, the Ava's Assembler has now been completed, and Zulrah can once again be clocked on the head. And speaking of head, I got something to put on my own, that being a Serpentine Visage. A nice little first little unique kill. It did take me a lot of kills to get that one, however, so, you know, the Vorkath head may have taken a while, but look, I made up for it in other ways. Had to be a little bit patient with that one, but on top of that, I've managed to get myself killed quite a few times, even with that helmet. Now, I wouldn't say I'm burnt out from the snake, but I am getting a little irritated with how long the melee phase is taking, so I'm going to try something here. I don't expect it to work tremendously well, and I'll have upgrades at my disposal if I ever decide that this is, you know, maybe worth investing in, but I'm going to bring a 3-way switch, nothing crazy. Oh, I forgot I use my Serp helm these days. I'm stuck in old habits. Swap that out for that. I got all my things messed up, but we're going to try the 3-way mage just in case it is somewhat useful against the red melee phase. Like, I'm just finding I'm just hitting 0, 0, 0, 0. Super boring. So we're going to try this little humble switch, see if it can help out a little bit. And if it does, who knows, maybe I'll go for some Arams, get a Trident of the Seas, and eventually upgrade that into a Trident of the Swamp. Might even need the Mage Arena cape as well. But, I don't know, it's always that thing, you kind of want that halfway point between, like, chilled out and, like, nothing crazy, but also effective. So, trying to min-max it, just get the most value for money sort of inventory slots. Not worrying about, like, boot and glove switches and any of that, so gonna try this out, see how it goes. Fingers crossed, and if it doesn't work, I guess we'll just stick to Bofa only. Alright, so let's have a look. Our DPS is 1.78, which is miserable with the Bofa. I swap over to this with Mystic Might, and it's even lower, so like, oh dude. It was good intentions, but yeah, somehow I don't think that's much of an upgrade. Not only is it like bad, it takes away food from everything else, so it's bad on all fronts. It takes extra effort, it's worse DPS, and it removes food from my inventory, preventing me from getting multi-kill trips, so that's gonna have to go, unfortunately. Back to the drawing board on that one. Mage, maybe it's like one of those things where you reach a certain point and it becomes extremely useful, but Mystics and a Warp Scepter, dare say that is not the point that we're aiming to achieve. I thought it made sense at the time, right? Grab myself a Warp Scepter, some Mystic Robes, and hopefully do some damage to the snake. You're yoking, mate. Thank you, old me, for the reaction to your second unique from Zulrah. Once again, getting myself a Serpentine Visage. Fantastic. Have zero use for that one, but, you know, it looks good in the chart log. But outside of a useless duplicate, we got ourselves a useful duplicate, that being another Zanite Shard. Also getting some fishing levels along the way. I've got to the point where I don't need the fish, but I need things to AFK, and fishing Carambines just seems to be my bread and butter at the moment. And having extra cooked Carambines, it's a good way to get a good injection of total levels, good injection of experience, and of course, the more Carambines that I put into my bank, the less I need them. It's nice to feel like you've got an unlimited supply of whatever that you're using, but using some of those Carambines, we got ourselves to 98 strength, only one more level to go to bang out another skill cape. But speaking of banging out another something, there is another Zanite Shard on the floor. Very good. I actually didn't realize, but you only need 4 Zanites, I believe. And I was under the impression that 5 was the amount that I was aiming to go for. There's 90 Slayer, by the way. Quite a ugly looking clip, but a great looking level. I ended up trying to go for a 5th Zanite Shard. And yeah, I didn't need to do that. But, you know, more the merrier. Got ourselves an Onyx from Zulrah, which is good as well. Obviously, it's not just the Zanites we need. We need Onyxes to go alongside them. And any Onyx that I achieve from Zulrah is one less that I need to buy with Chaos Runes, or by proxy. And The passive magic experience is also ticking out, thank you.
Oh.
Sorry, I interrupted myself there. Get myself a Tanzanite Fang and 97 magic. Things are coming along quite nicely. There we have ourselves the ingredients for a blowpipe complete. Can't say that word apparently. And we now have 2 weapons of choice. And just getting that extra health back and a little bit extra DPS has been nice. Dying randomly hasn't been great. Got a little bit greedy on that one, not gonna lie. I didn't realize if you like TP out and a poison ticks you while you're TPing, you're just guaranteed dead on arrival. I could not like instantly cast Cure Me. I was just absolutely dead and with no chance of surviving. But been doing some seaweed runs as well, trying to get myself a bunch of seaweed spores, enchanting a bunch of dueling rings just so I have a unlimited supply, or at least a subjectively unlimited supply of dueling rings. But once again, we get ourselves a duplicate, Tanzanite Fang number 2, still chasing down that magic fang, but once again, another duplicate, this time actually useful though. An uncut onyx coming in hot once again from Zulrah. And it hasn't all been pretty, as you can see here, getting absolutely smashed. I do find myself getting a little bit greedy, and there is some dumb deaths that I am allowing myself to get, and getting logged out mid-kill is also great as well. I do like to use the Taste of Vengeance method of killing Zulrah. I do find it to be quite a lot of fun. But yeah, sometimes it just bites you in the ass, especially if you're being greedy on the mage phase. But out of all the drops I've gotten thus far, this video in particular, a Tanzanite mutagen was the one that surprised me the most. So we can use that with one of the serpentine visages and make ourselves a little blue helm, which is sick. So if I ever feel like using that full setup to be nice and safe, I can now look cool at the same time that I do that, so that's great. But yeah, just cleaning up some herbs, finishing up a couple more levels in the total department before rounding off the 1000th kill of the snake. Things are gone, as you can see, pretty damn well with that 3rd onyx. Alrighty, there is 1000 kills of the good snake. We've got everything we need except for the magic fang, which isn't a huge deal. I'm going to try and squeeze out a kill here. I can't get rid of the venom though because I'm on the Arceus spellbook. But all in all, I think the snake has treated me quite well. The mutagen seemed to be a little excessive, but you know what I mean, I'll take it. And I think I'll probably kill this snake a lot in the future, to the point where me getting the mutagen kind of levels out. It's kind of inspired me to level up my account a little bit. I'm really enjoying sort of like trying to min-max this whole experience. It's kind of difficult to speak and do it at the same time, but just trying to get blowpipe hits in, instead of just like bofa hits, just kind of looking for those little min-max opportunities, even with the prayer flicking as well. But one thing I have been inspired to do, perhaps as a long-term goal, is to walk towards the shadow. I noticed there was a particular rotation where in that opening phase I managed to get the boss down to 302 health before it switched, which is crazy. If you've ever done Zulrah before, that's pretty nutty. But what ended up happening is the melee phase came through and I just hit constant zeros. So I think in the future, the very distant future, I don't get hit by those. This is a recording glitch, I think. Is to work towards the shadow. I think that'd be absolutely sick. I think I can beat this speedrun time. I just haven't got a good distribution of hits. But if I get myself something like a shadow, oh my goodness, I will tear this snake new asshole. It's not even going to be funny. But a PB of 54 seconds with the bofa. This is before the blowpipe and before the backpack as well. Pretty satisfied with that overall. I think all in all, my Zulrah experience has been a positive one. I'm not like totally fiending for the magic fang, but it would be nice, to be honest, just to round things out. We've got the 3 onyxes that we need for the remaining 2 pieces of Zenyte jewelry, plus a amulet of fury. We've got ourselves 2 Tanzanite fangs, which is sweet. The mutagen's ridiculous. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of a challenge to get myself the magic fang on top of that. But I think this video, I'm going to have to call it wraps. I haven't actually edited any of it, so this could be a 3-minute video. It could be 25 minutes. I have no idea, but I'm going to take a gamble and hope for the best. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. 1001 kills of the old snake down the hatch. Really enjoying this bank tag layout plugin, by the way. The actual name of it is called bank tags, I believe. There might be something else in addition to that, but what I really like is this thing that allows me to go boop, boop, boop. Let's see, you get the inventory and the gear setup that you want. And let's say I want 10 monkfish in this. All I need to do is go to the bank, click on this preview auto layout, click the tick, and then I've got everything ready to go. This is really helpful for things like seaweed runs and stuff, which I've just been trying to get back into the habit of. Now that I've got myself all my Zenites, as well as all of my Onyxes, my crafting level is going to be a little bit of an issue. So I'm going to do myself a seaweed run. Wish you guys the very best, and bid you all farewell until the next one. Good luck in any of your grinds, but that is all the time I have for now. I'll catch you in the next video.